Blessing. How is everyone doing today? This is Venesia Williams in Powers. Welcome so much to our broadcast today. I want to definitely take the time out to encourage you all to share. We've got a phenomenal guest coming on. Coach Paula is going to be joining us on today. Listen, I'm sharing. I want you to take the time out to make sure you share. Let me know where you guys are logging in from. I'm sharing right now on all social media platforms. I want you to definitely take the time out to share on today. This is going to be powerful. It's going to be encouraging. I'm telling you, it's going to take you to a whole another level. Somebody say who's ready to level up on today. So I'm truly excited. I'm truly excited on today, and I've shared, and I'm excited to share with you on today. That's why I came on just a few minutes early to make sure that you're able to get on and to share on today. We're not going to be keeping you long, but definitely for those that don't know, I'm Venesia Williams. I am the #1 prophetic empowerment coach in the UK. I'm the author of the books Turning Point, How God Turned My Darkness into Marvelous Light, and The Power of Renewing Your Mind, which is a 21-day devotional designed to help you to transform your life by the renewing of your mind. I'm also the co-founder of the Power of Love Ministries and the Empowerment Center. And guess what? There's one more Empowering Women to Win Network, where we host virtual and physical conferences and gatherings to really help equip, empower, and elevate you to your next level. I definitely enjoy everything to do with empowerment, spiritual empowerment, personal empowerment, and definitely just really taking the time out to help women, predominantly in my profession, to really get to the next level. So without further ado, I definitely want to invite our guest on today. She is joining us all the way from
New Jersey. Yes.
From New Jersey. Thank you so much, Coach Paula. Thank you so much for joining us on today. I'm excited for you to share on today. But before we get into you sharing, please do tell the people a little bit about who you are and what is it that you do.
Yes, absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, I'm not sure what time zone you guys. It's afternoon for me here in the United States. It's nighttime for you, right? I was like, Good evening to those that are watching, to those who watch the broadcast, whatever time that might be. Grace and peace to all of you. My name is Paula Hollis. I reside in the United States in New Jersey. I'm about 35 minutes outside of the city of brotherly love, which is known as Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I am a life coach with a special emphasis on grief, relationships, and personal empowerment and development. I am a mom of 3 sons, 30, 22, and 17. I'm a mother in love, and I'm a Grammy. I have a 4-year-old grandson. And so my objective in life is to help others to navigate through grief, through loss, through disappointments, and to build healthy relationships that start with yourself and then permeate out from there. So I'm glad to be here to share and to empower and to impart with this audience. So thank you for having me.
Oh, that is amazing. That is amazing. Wow, you said you listen, you need to tell us the secret. You said you got a grandbaby that's 4?
My grandson is 4, yes.
Wow. So what was your why behind what it is that you do?
What was my why? So I think I have always been that go-to person for family, for friends, for advice, for encouraging and uplifting moments. And so, just recently, 16 months ago, my husband and my husband of 30 years, and my sister passed away within 6 days of each other.
Wow.
And I had just started my certification to be a life coach. And so literally, that program, the 10 months that I walked out that program, was definitely an opportunity for me to be my first client and for me to learn how to be resilient in difficult circumstances. Now, I thought I already had some given level of resiliency after all I've been through in my life, but these last 16 months have catapulted it to another level. And so as a result, I want to be able to help others to do the same when they have difficulties, circumstances, and situations. I want to be able to help them to navigate it and to come out on top.
Amazing. I absolutely love it. Wow. That is, woo. It's so funny how, you can find your purpose in the midst of pain, in the midst of that reconstructing and rebuilding and rediscovering. You can actually find, what it is that your passion is to really begin
Absolutely.
to help other people. And it started with you helping you.
If you will open your eyes, yes. As the title of our presentation is.
We're gonna definitely get into that.
Yes.
When you sent me that, I was like, wow. I was like, I like her. So you're gonna be discussing today in our empowerment talk, open your eyes. And you said energize your environment strategically.
Absolutely. I am one who loves acronyms, and here my friends and family will tell you that I love acronyms because they create something that's easy for you to remember. And we all know we need to open our eyes, but what does that mean? E.Y.E.S. Let's, energize your environment strategically. And so I'd love to be able to step through that.
I'm ready.
You ready?
You are.
Awesome.
That is powerful. That is powerful what you said, and I definitely want to give you the time and the space to really unpack that. And
sure.
As you're sharing, I'm gonna go backstage and do some inviting and get some more people on. But I definitely want you to take the time out to just flow freely and really unpack that, because when I heard, listen, Elaine says, I'm ready.
Yes, let's go.
I'm ready.
Absolutely. Sure. Yes, I'll gladly step through it. I'm kind of excited about it myself. So I'll start talking. And whenever you want to shut me up, because I can talk a lot. So whenever you're ready to quieten me, just say, okay, Coach Paula, wait a minute.
Okay, no problem. You just go ahead.
Sure. So welcome to our studio audience and to everyone listening both live and on the replay. And so I want to talk about opening your eyes. So we all see with our natural eyes, and they're important to us. And so that's important for us to know, to be able to look and to see things in the natural. But it's also important for us to be able to see beyond that, beyond what we just physically see. And so I'd like to talk about eyes, opening your eyes. That means energize your environment strategically. So what does it mean to energize? Energize means when you give vitality and enthusiasm to something. There's a quote that says, where your focus goes, your energy flows. And so whatever you're focusing on, that's where your energy is going to go. And so it's important to give your vitality and your enthusiasm to the things that are going to be most fruitful for you. We don't want to waste our time. We all are given the same 24 hours a day, and that's the gift that we receive. But how we use them is the gift that we give back. And so energizing your energetic presence, it's all about how you show up. We all know certain people come in the room and they can brighten the room, and then other people can come in the room and kind of make it a Debbie Downer moment. And so your energetic presence and how you show up is so important. So the first step in opening your eyes is considering the energy that you're releasing in the atmosphere. And so there's two types of energy, and I think it's important to understand those. The first type of energy is catabolic energy. Catabolic energy is that type of energy that's destructive, and it can be very restrictive, and it's contracting because it's not life-giving. So catabolic energy, most of us would say that's not the type of energy that we want to give off. The other type of energy is anabolic energy. That's constructive energy. That's fueling your passions and even fueling the passions of others and expanding your thought process, expanding the things that you do. So we have to consider, how are we showing up? Catabolically or anabolically? So that is the E in open your eyes, your energy, and how you are energizing the world around you. Y, E.Y.E.S. Y stands for your. And there's a sub-acronym here, so just walk with me here. Y-O-U-R. You own unique responses. We have to think about that. You actually own how you respond to situations. I was thinking the other day, and it's so important to understand how we frame our worlds and how you see things. A circumstance can happen to you, and too often we make the circumstance the conclusion that we draw. But I'm here to say today that your circumstance is not the equivalent of your conclusion. So the circumstance may be that your parents got a divorce when you were a child. That was the circumstance. But then you make a conclusion and you say, all marriages end in divorce, or love will never work for me. That doesn't mean that. That circumstance is not equal to the conclusion that you've drawn. And so we have to reframe, and we have to make a new math equation that actually conditions and circumstances do not equal the conclusion. What drives it is your comeback in the middle. So your circumstance plus your comeback is what equals the conclusion. So yeah, my parents got a divorce when I was a child, for instance. That was a circumstance. But my comeback is that I still believe in love. I still believe that there's an opportunity when we work things out together to ultimately get to the conclusion of a healthy relationship. So know that you own your responses. Well, how do you do that? How do I own my responses? How do I show up the way I need to show up? Because at the end of the day, every moment in life, it describes who you currently are. And it also presents an opportunity for you to decide, is that how I want to be? Let's unpack that a little bit. Think about it. You're driving in traffic. I don't know how it is driving in England, but I know how it is here driving in America. It can get a little crazy. People cutting you off and people going a little too slow, a little too fast. And especially if someone cuts you off, you may be angered about that. Let's just tell the truth. And so in that moment, that catabolic, destructive type of energy shows up like, no, they didn't cut me off. And then you have to decide, how am I going to handle this? Am I going to try to drive faster or drive closer behind them? Or am I just going to let them go? Like, go ahead. I'd rather have you in front of me than behind me. So when a circumstance and a situation shows up, you own the power to decide, yes, I might be angry in this moment, but do I want to remain angry? Or do I want to shift and be different in my approach? And so I think a great example to help us with understanding owning our unique responses, we all have a thermostat in our home that regulates our temperature. And so if you indulge me for a few moments, let's assume that we all have one that is automatic, that it senses the temperature in the room and that it adjusts, either turning on the heat or turning on the air to satisfy whatever condition is requested based on the thermometer. So let's think about this. We have three components. We have the temperature. The temperature in the room is static. It can be measured in Fahrenheit, Celsius, or Kelvin. And it simply represents the degree of heat that is present in that environment. The temperature is fully unaware of anything else, and it actually doesn't control anything. It simply a number. It's temperature. Also in that room is the thermometer. The thermometer is the internal portion of that overall thermostat that is reporting back the temperature of the room. So the temperature may be 68 degrees Fahrenheit. I know we have a different metric system, so I'll say 68 degrees Fahrenheit. And so the temperature just simply says, here I am, 68 degrees. But the thermometer will say 68 degrees and report that to the thermostat. So the thermometer has a higher level of consciousness than the temperature. It's actually reporting the temperature in the room. So it's aware, but it's not in control of the temperature. It's simply reporting out what the current status is in the environment. But then you have that third element of the overall thermostat, which is the thermostat itself, which actually reads the room through the thermometer, but it makes adjustments. So the thermostat is fully aware of the temperature because the thermometer reported the temperature to it. But the thermostat also has the power and influence and control to regulate that temperature. So say you want it to be 68 degrees and it's gotten a little chilly and now it's down to 65. The thermostat says, warm it up in here. Or maybe it's gotten a little too hot because the sun is blazing and it's 70 degrees, but you want it to be 68. So the thermostat says, hey, I need you to cool it off in here. So when I say that you own your unique responses, I'm saying that you have the power to decide in every circumstance, in every situation, how am I going to show up? Am I going to be static and simply be the temperature? Am I going to be the thermometer that reads the temperature and reports it out? Or am I going to be in full control and be the thermostat? Guess what? None of those positions are bad or wrong. In fact, they're all equally important. And so you must know, as you empower yourself, you must know, who do I need to be in this circumstance and situation? Maybe I'm in a mentoring situation and I'm just here to observe. So maybe I'm just temperature. Or maybe I'm there to add some value to the conversation and I'm the thermometer. I'm reading the room, understanding what's going on, and occasionally kind of reporting out on what the current temperature is. Or maybe when I come into the room, I'm the boss on the scene because I'm the thermostat and I'm going to figure out what's going on and I'm going to regulate, heat it up, and cool it down as is necessary. So a key to energizing your environment is having the perception to know, who am I supposed to be in this environment? The temperature, the thermometer, or the thermostat, and then deciding who you're going to be and then being exactly that. So we've discussed two components of opening our eyes. We've discussed our energy, and then your responsibility within the environment. Well, what is the environment? E.Y.E. What is the E for environment? What is that? So environment, by definition, that's your surroundings. That's what your atmosphere is. And so if we think about it in the plant kingdom, it's what a plant needs to survive and to operate. Those conditions, those soil conditions, those atmospheric conditions are important and integral to an environment and how well things can thrive and be successful in an environment. So it is key, as we're empowering ourselves, women, it is key for us to know that you are a leader. Yes, you, my sister, you are a leader. You might not think you're a leader, but guess what? You are. And I'll tell you why. One, you're leading yourself. Forget the other people for a moment. You are leading yourself. I don't feel like getting up in the morning. No, you're going to get up and this is what you're going to do. You have to lead yourself first and foremost. Sometimes you got to talk to yourself about that. Sometimes you just have to push yourself to do above and beyond what you might not even feel like doing. That is a leader. So that's internal leadership. But you're also an external leader. Somebody, somewhere is watching you. You might not know it, but trust. Someone is looking at how you're behaving. Someone is looking at what you're doing, what you're saying, what you're not saying, what your face is saying, even though your mouth may be silent. You are a leader because leadership is all about influence and impact. And so you are a leader. You have a domain where you lead, and you have a sphere of influence, people that are watching and looking to you. So as we're opening our eyes, we're looking at our energy levels, we're looking at our personal responsibility for and we're looking at the environment and the domains in which we live, work, and have influence. So we have E.Y.E, and last is S, which S is strategically. Once we know about our energy, catabolic and anabolic, once we know our personal level of responsibility of whether we're being temperature, thermometers, or thermostats, and once we know and identify what the environment is that we are influencing, we've got to use something strategically to exercise it. So for instance, in business, there's something known as a KPI. Those are key performance indicators. And guess what, boss ladies? We must know our key performance indicators. We must have knowledge. We must be aware of who we are. So there's I self. You have to be honest, open, and transparent. There's an acronym, ladies, that's HOT. We all want to be hot, right? We have to be honest, open, and transparent with ourselves. So our I self, we have to have knowledge of our I self. That is, how do I see myself? Do I see myself defeated? Do I see myself victoriously? Am I struggling and to overcome imposter syndrome? Do I understand and know my value and add interest? How do I see myself? That's the I self, which is important. But we also have to have knowledge of the me self. Right? That is, how are others seeing me? That's important to know. We should all have someone who is helping us with our blind spots. We don't always see the way we're showing up. We perceive that we may be doing something that we're really not doing. One of the things I do at my church, I'm a worship leader. And so I'm the servant leader over our worship arts and music ministry. And so I tell and encourage the singers to watch the reels. Be like the football players or the sports players. Watch the reels. You think you're doing stuff and you're moving and whatever, and you may look at that reel and realize that, wow, I really wasn't doing what all I thought I was doing. But we don't always have a movie or a broadcast that we can go back and refer to in our lives. So we have to have trusted advisors, friends, colleagues that can help us with our blind spots and identifying our me self. So we have I self, how I see myself. We have me self, how others see me. And then lastly, we have the ideal self. Once we know how we're seeing ourselves, once we're aware of how others are seeing us, then we have to make that decision. Is this really how I want to be seen? Remember, in every circumstance, in every situation, you have the power to determine how you're going to show up. So that key performance indicator of knowledge is extremely important. The other KPI, knowledge, power. You've got to know your power. You've got to know what you do, and you've got to know how you do it. There are many different types of power. There's legitimate power. A boss on your job, automatically, they have legitimate power. You can't deny that they have power over you. There's reward power. Someone is just given power to be able to reward or even sometimes to punish. That's reward power. Then there's expert power. If you're that subject matter expert, or what we call SME, and you're the go-to person on your job, you have expert power because people are going to come to you. They're going to look to you and want to understand how to do and what to do. Or you could have referent power, right? Related to your authority, maybe as a parent, a higher deity. You know, I'm a firm believer in faith And God has referent power over my life. I'm not my own. And so I'm subject to what he says as well. And then the last form of power is coercive power. That's not the kind we really want to be subject to. We want to make sure we rid our lives. That's more that catabolic side that's bringing the destruction and something that is tearing us down. We want to be in environments that are edifying and are uplifting. But that is a valid form of power, coercive, where people are just forceful and they're taking power and authority over you. So one of these key performance indicators is to understand what your power is and to leverage it and to use it for fruitfulness and to help and empower others in what you do. The I, knowledge, power, influence, the KPIs. Let's understand our KPIs. That's influence. I is influence. That's your ability to affect the behavior. Yeah, you might have power, right? And that means that you can impact some people, but do you have influence? Influence as a result is when people change their behavior because of something you did or something that you said. That's influence, knowing who you are, how you do things, and when you have impact, not using it coercively. Remember, we want to build up each other. We want to build up ourselves, and we want to build up others. And so I think this is a question for me. What is my power? Is that a question coming to me? What is my power? Let's see. I guess I would say my power is mostly expert power. I think particularly in my job, I'm also often viewed as a subject matter expert. And so people come to me for my opinions and my perspective on things. So I would think that my power is more expert power. I do have legitimate power in certain circumstances and situations as a servant leader. And I'm not going to deny that I have referent power as mom in the house, because the queen, where's my crown? I probably should have brought my crown somewhere over here. The queen does have some power in Hollisville. So I don't believe in exercising coercive power. But I do have legitimate power, expert power, and referent power. And so I charge you today, ladies, to look at your life. You know, we talk about opening your eyes, your energy. How are you showing up? You know, my role or my responsibility is to energize you, hopefully to set you on fire, hopefully to disturb you a little bit and shake you up to let you think about some things. But also, as much as I might be poking and stirring at you, I'm hoping to awaken potential on the inside of you. I need you to take a look at your life. How am I energizing myself? How am I taking personal responsibility and accountability for how I show up? That why, that you own. And what is my environment? Let me identify it. Where is that at work? Where is that at home? Where is that at church? Where is that just everywhere that I go? Because in every environment that you step in, you need to assess what that looks like. And then lastly, be strategic about it. Understand your KPIs, your knowledge, your power, and your influence. And so as a result, you really need to sit and say, you know what? In my life, am I the cause of things in my life? Or am I the effect? Am I living proactively and establishing things? Or am I simply just reacting to what's happening to me day by day, moment by moment? And so that's the key. Take that magnifying glass, look at your I self, look at your me self, get your little sister circle and your squad of sisters that are willing to talk to you and be honest with you. And tell you, know, Paula, when you did that, girl, that wasn't good. When you showed up and you said that and you did that, you need iron sharpeners. You need a squad. You need people who are going to speak honestly to you, who are not going to be so enamored with who you are that they're afraid to say something to you. But you want to make sure you don't have haters either, because they do exist. Let's just be those that are uplifting and edifying and building one another up. We are empowered. We can do this. Remember, our circumstance does not equal the conclusion that we draw. That factor and equation in the equation is our comeback. And when you have a setback, and we all do, my husband passing away 16 months ago was a setback. Trust me, after 30 years. But what am I going to do? When you have a setback, you need to step back, do whatever you need to do, evaluate your KPIs, pray, do whatever it is that you need to do. Step back, but then you get ready for the comeback, because the comeback plus whatever your condition and circumstance is, that ultimately determines the outcome. If you have no comeback, then you've just allowed whatever that circumstance or situation is to dominate and rule and set. You made that the thermostat instead of you being the thermostat of your life. So I hope I've said something today that is encouraged to you. I hope I poked you a little bit, made you a little disturbed and got under your skin, because I want you to think. We are women. We are of great influence and great power. We have that, and great knowledge. We're smart. We're beautiful. We're brilliant. But what are we doing with that? Let's use it to cause and to shift atmospheres everywhere that we go. And so as a coach, I'm available. I'm a resource. I would love to talk to you. I would love to have interaction with you and be an energy partner for you to walk this out so that you can be the best version of yourself. When you don't show up as your most authentic self, you're robbing the rest of us of something that we all need to receive. So I encourage you today. Turning it back over to you.
Wow. That was amazing. I got so many notes. That was so good, Coach Paula. That was amazing. I just want to thank you for just coming on and just outpouring so richly on today. You shared such a wealth of wisdom. It was phenomenal. I don't know if anyone has any questions, but I'm telling you, I want them to know how they can reach you, how they can connect with you, what you got coming up, your classes, your coaching programs. Feel free to share that information so they can connect with you as well.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for a space to do that. So on social media, my website is www.paula, Paula, Hollis, HOLLIS.com. That has my website and the different products and services that I offer. On social media, also on Instagram or Facebook, my handle is the @ and I am Paula Hollis. Try to keep it simple for you, right? And if you actually want to connect with me and maybe have a free discovery call, we can talk about some of the things that I've talked about here. You can reach out to me. You can go to bit.ly, bit.ly, and then in all caps, write the words free intro call. That's also on my website. If you can't remember all of that, there's an opportunity to connect with me there. I am an author. I did take the 30 years that I spent with my husband. He was a wonderful man. I could talk about him for hours, but I wrote a book entitled Intentional Intimacy: Lessons in Life, Love, and Relationships, because intimacy is key to our relationships, not just marital, but friends, siblings, parent, child. Those are essential to our relationships. It is important that we are intentional, meaning that we set the right motive for what it is that we want to do, and also that we allow intimacy into me, being vulnerable and open. I talked about that being hot, ladies. That honest, open, and transparent. So we got to be hot in our relationships. Woo woo. And so I wrote that book for all relationships, but I share practical stories of me and my husband and our relationship of 30 years. And at the end of the day, even though I'm sharing about the two of us, it ultimately comes down to you. You may hear our story, the story of Martin and Paula, but what are you going to do about it? How do you take what our lessons are and apply them to your life? Because a lesson applied moves from knowledge to wisdom. We don't simply want to know. We want to be wise. And so in applying the knowledge that we receive, then we're able to walk in wisdom, which is the principal thing in life.
Listen, Coach Paula is just dropping the gems. She's like a gold mine. She's just dropping those gems one after the other. I'm ever hardly speechless, and I feel like I'm speechless on today. It was just so good. I
Oh,
think
thank you.
that each and every person, if you're just joining now, make sure you go back and listen to the replay. Make sure you take notes. Make sure you connect. I don't know if do you have a podcast?
I don't have a podcast.
You need to have a podcast. Your voice is so therapeutic.
My children keep telling me that. I'm like, listen, I do like to sleep, y'all. I mean,
I'm telling you, yeah, you've got one of those, definitely got one of those voices.
oh, thank you.
I can definitely hear you on a podcast. So maybe that's something for the future.
Perhaps. I would say that that's very possible. Yes.
Yes, that would be amazing. I love what you said about knowledge, power, influence, us really realizing that, you know, we're not our situations or we're not our circumstances. And I love the way you said it's how you don't, it doesn't equal your conclusion. It's the comeback in the middle of it. How are you going to come back? I think that was so powerful because each and every one of us can think of a time that we're facing a challenge, or we might be currently facing a challenge. And it's our perception of that challenge is that's going to deteriorate. How are we going to move forward? Are we going to progress, or are we going to remain in a place where we're stagnant, where we're just actually just focusing on the problem instead of how are we going to get out of this? What's the solution? How are we going to come forth from this? I thought that was so powerful.
We have to reframe it. Like my mom passed away on my birthday 14 years ago.
Wow.
And I could have taken that circumstance and situation and made my birthday something that is always difficult, you know, but I have to choose. I choose. It's all about our choices. I choose to look at her passing as something that was beautiful and rooted in love, because my mom was on hospice. And every day when she came home from the hospital from hospice, she would ask me, what's the date? What's the date? What's the date? And it was from a Friday to a Friday that she was on hospice. And it was like she waited. She took all her strength. She took all her energy. She took all her effort to get to my birthday. And we talked, we laughed, we cried, we shared. The last thing she said to me is to celebrate life. Wow. She said, God has given you life and life more abundantly. Paula, make sure that you celebrate life. And through the oxygen, my mom she couldn't sing. She couldn't carry a note in a bucket of water if you gave it to her. But through her oxygen, she sang, and she sang happy birthday to me. And it was the most beautiful thing. She sent me off to go get my hair curled. I was like, Mom, I don't need curls. I'm just going to be right here with you. I don't need my hair done. But she sent me off to get my hair done. And in that short time window, when I was away from her, she made her transition, into heaven. And I'm comforted knowing that she loved me that much, that she would take her energy, she would take of her last to be able to give to me. Sure, I could take and look at it as, oh my gosh, she died on my birthday, and oh, my birthday is always going to be that. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. But how are we going to frame with glasses? I don't have my glasses on right now, but glasses determine and how we see things. If you're wearing rose-colored glasses, everything's looking rosy. If you're wearing black glasses, you're not seeing anything because everything's blacked out. Yeah. But you have to determine, you get to decide, just like I said, that temperature, the thermostat, and the thermometer, you get to decide. The power is in your hands. You're in the driver's seat. No one else is in the driver's seat of your life but you.
There we go again, Coach Paula. You are absolutely fabulous. I cannot wait to have you on again with our panel for our empowering women to win gathering, because I'm telling you, all the ladies are just going to absolutely love you.
Oh, I would love that. Listen, I love the ladies. I love talking and being with the ladies, I would love that.
I will definitely send you the information. Once again, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing. We truly appreciate you. I appreciate all the knowledge that's been shared. And another thing that Coach Paula said is, don't just take the knowledge, don't just take notes, but be an action taker. Use wisdom is applying the knowledge that's been given to you. So apply this knowledge today that's been released to you and make a difference.
Make a difference.
That's what we're here to encourage and empower you to do, to make a difference, because that's all we can do, is be the difference that we want to see.
Exactly. That's where it starts. It starts with us. It starts with us. I really appreciate you having me on your podcast today. I appreciate your audience. I saw some great and encouraging comments coming through. I really appreciate that. And for those that are watching live and for those that are going to watch this replay, I'd love to connect. I love meeting people and talking to different people and talking through things. Let's tease it out. You know, let's exhaust it until we can't see any other perspectives.
Okay, Paula, thank you so much. I'm gonna wrap up tonight's episode now, but it was truly a pleasure having you on today, and I truly do appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Take care.
You're welcome. God bless you.
God bless you too.
Wow. That was absolutely amazing. We enjoyed Coach Paula. She came in with a bang. It was explosive. It was a wealth of knowledge. I'd be telling you, I'll be getting these divine connections that just be like, they just be warming my heart, because I just thinking, oh my God, the ladies, myself, the men that are listening are going to get such value. And that's what it's all about, adding value, adding knowledge, adding wisdom, adding all that great stuff to your life so you can really be elevated to your next level. So please do heart it up, share this with somebody so that they can be blessed today. Remember, we have a double on today. So after this, I got a next broadcast at 10 o'clock with an expert relationship coach, Allison. So that's going to be powerful as well. So I hope she don't get on me being single for 9 years. So let's see how that goes. But I want to also remind you guys that we've got the Empowering Women to Win in-person conference. That's going to be June the 30th, where we come together, we connect, we collaborate. It's going to be networking. It's going to be a time where women are coming to really begin to share their expertise, to show you how you can truly begin to expand. And you're going to get the opportunity to showcase your products, your services, because I'm a firm believer of us knowing what you do. So even if I don't need what you have, I might know somebody that does. So this is a great space to come in and really begin to show who you are. I've got women contact me like, I don't even have a business coach. Like, what's going on? But I'm telling you, just sometimes you got to be in the room with other entrepreneurs, other leaders. So what you've actually got within you can be ignited, because a lot of time you don't even realize what you have within you. Listen, one of my favorite passages of scriptures is about this widow. She didn't have nothing. Okay. She thought to herself that I don't have anything at all. But guess what? She said, I only have a little bit of all. When she went to the man of God, and she was like, listen, I got all of this debts. My husband was working for you. And I'm just paraphrasing. My husband was working for you. They're about to take my sons. Listen, like, you need to help us out. And he was like, what do you have in your house? And she was like, I don't have anything. I've only got a little bit of oil. And sometimes you are overlooking the very thing that's going to prosper you. You are overlooking the very thing that God wants to multiply to get you to your next level, to bring that increase into you, to multiply. Listen, what happened? He said to her, go get some vessels. She said to her, go and borrow. Could you imagine you being in a place of debt and he's telling you to go and borrow? That just makes no sense. But a lot of times, sometimes things ain't going to make no sense. You're probably thinking, how am I going to go and get this flight now to go to London? What's going to happen? How am I going to get this ticket to go to London? Listen, it made no sense at the time, but she was obedient. And she borrowed all the vessels. And guess what? That little jar of oil filled up all of those vessels. She was able to pay off her debt and she was able to live off the rest. So what is that saying? What's that saying to you today? That you've got it right there with you. It may not be in your physical house. It may be in the womb of your mind that you just need to release. Maybe it's an idea, a creative idea that just needs to be released, but it's already within you. What you need is already in you. You just got to take the time out to figure it out. You got to take the time out to really hone in and say, what is it that I actually have been overlooking that I need to use at this stage where I am to multiply, to prosper me, to get me to that next level? So this is what it's all about, making sure you're at the right place at the right time with the right people. So empowering women to win 2023, the information's below. Listen, if you would like, you're saying to yourself, listen, I can't be there, but I want to be able to partner with you. I believe in the vision. I want to support, because you've known about our mission trips that we're doing for Jamaica, October. We're looking to send 12 barrels to Jamaica and do some missionary work out there to really, that's my mother's passion, to really help those in need with disability, vulnerable children and families with their essentials and necessities. We've been literally doing this for many years now, but we want to definitely do it at a greater scale. And the word says, if you ask not, you have not because you ask not. So I'm just making it known to you to help us if you can, so that we can do this at a greater capacity. And you are all invited if you don't want to come Jamaica October and join us, because the more the merrier. We can make a greater impact. So that's the aim. That's our goal, to be able to do 12 barrels to Jamaica. And if you want to connect with me, you can go to www.venesiawilliams.com, or you can slide in the DM. I ain't got no problem you sliding in the DM. You can slide in the DM and I'll be able to send you that information that you need. So once again, have a fabulous evening. I thank you all so much. Make sure you connect with Coach Paula. She was on today and she was absolutely fabulous. So make sure I want you to flood her website. I want you to go buy something, invest in something, get a book, bless somebody, do something. Let her feel appreciated and loved on today. Share. It costs you nothing to share. So make sure you share. And I'll be back on in about 10 minutes with Coach Allison, our relationship expert. She's going to share some relationship tips on today. So make sure you all have a blessed day. And this is your girl, Venesia Williams. I love you. And guess what? You can win in every single area of your life. God bless you all. Bye-bye.